Hello there, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly tarot video forecast in-depth version. This is for the month of June, and I have June broken down into two different segments. So the first segment of this video is going to be about June the 1st through the 14th, and then after that we'll look at June the 15th through the 30th. Okay. So let's start with your environment, Sagittarius. What do we have showing up? Whoop, whoop. This is actually pretty good. This shows some kind of partnership in your environment. So you could be sharing your environment with somebody that you're partnering up with. Or this could talk about signing a new contract on your environment, signing a new lease agreement or rental agreement, signing a mortgage agreement, signing a lease-to-own type agreement. So some type of new partnership, whether that is with having to do exactly with the property itself that you have some kind of new partnership or contract or agreement on, or whether this is the idea that there is a partnership in the property, like you are partnered up with somebody else. Okay, one way or the other that's coming through, and I think we've got, I think that's like 30% people that they're partnered up with, and the rest of you, this is a new contract or a new agreement, a new partnership as far as around the environment. Okay. Next thing that I'm looking at does talk to me about your subconscious leanings, Sagittarius. I think that what's going on is there's something that you have invested into, whether you've invested finances, emotions, energy, time. There's something that you've invested into with the expectation that you would get something out of that. And what's going on is that that payback is not coming back to you as quickly as you thought it would. And so it looks to me like your subconscious is really working on, okay, is there any way for me to speed that process up so that I get the payback back more quickly than it looks like you'll get now? So that's what your subconscious is working on. Next thing I'm looking at does talk to me about learning style and also communication style. So learning style, I feel like you're doing some kind of distance learning right now. Well, I guess that's not much of a stretch. That's kind of cheating these days with Corona, but you may be enrolled in like an online university, or you may be taking a seminar that's online, but you're doing some kind of learning that has to do with distance, some kind of learning that is coming over the airways one way or another, okay? And as far as communication style, I do think there's a lot of conversation going on having to do with money. And it's kind of interesting. I think this only started showing up in the readings like the last counting this month, the last 2 months, maybe the last 3 months. Pretty much since the sun's been in Taurus for sure, maybe even a little bit before then. So I think that's interesting that, money has become sort of a theme. It gets mentioned in almost every reading now. And before that, I don't remember things coming up about people talking about money or learning about money, thinking about money. All right, so anyway, a lot of conversations going on around money and around clothing and clothing design for somebody out there. I'm sure that's not for the majority of you, but there's at least one person out there that you may be talking about money around some kind of clothing design. Maybe you're putting a brand out, or maybe you work in that industry, so you may be negotiating with somebody for wages or for a contract or whatever. Like I said, obviously that won't apply to everybody. The conversations about money, though, definitely do. As much as they can in a general reading, I should say. All right, let's look at work next. It looks to me like you're feeling like you're being really underpaid at work, and it may even be that you have a check that's short. Maybe you're putting in overtime and you only got paid, you only got compensated for regular time instead of overtime or something like that, or somebody didn't put a bonus on your check that's supposed to be there, something like that. I just feel like whenever it comes to work, you're not being compensated in the amount that you were expecting to be compensated. And I feel like I feel like somebody made a mistake on that. That's going to have to be fixed. I think for that to be fixed, though, you are going to have to be the one that draws their attention to the situation. I don't think they're going to fix it automatically. They won't. I'm hearing they won't fix it without you raising a little bit of a stink. Some of you will have to raise more of a stink than others. Next thing we're looking at is that part of your personality that's being grown or expanded right now. It looks to me like there's something going on where you're not able to do exactly everything that you would normally be able to do. And so this is giving you a chance to rethink your perspective around certain things because you have a little bit more time than you normally would, and you normally wouldn't even be thinking about these things. But now you are as you go through this time frame. So not being able to do everything that you normally would be able to do is not always such a great thing. But what's good about this card is that it talks about whenever you come out of this downtime, then you have this new, fresh perspective that is much more in alignment with the realities around you and much more, it allows you to make much more healthy decisions moving forward. All right, Sagittarius, the next thing that we're going to look at are those things that you stand for, or that thing that you stand for. So this is going to be something where somebody has come to you and asked you to explain something, or they've out and out confronted you about something, okay? And then what we're going to look at after that is going to be how this person feels about the situation after the confrontation or the explanation, whichever way it plays out in your life. So it looks like the thing that you're standing for is a person. And it looks like this is a person who shows narcissistic behavior. So they manipulate things, they can throw fits, they don't really shoot things straight, they're not very honest. You know, they pretty much do whatever it takes to get somebody else to do whatever it is that they want done. All right, so they can be incredibly manipulative and incredibly dishonest and incredibly charming as well. Most of the world sees them as an upstanding citizen until they get to know them better. And so this is the person that you're actually defending here. It may be that, you know, the side that you've seen of them is upstanding citizens so far. Or maybe you have seen some of these less appealing behaviors, but you feel like you understand why the person does what they do, and so you still are standing up for them in spite of those behaviors. Now, once you've had this confrontation with the other person, they see you as somebody who, I think they see you as somebody who is enamored with this person, and they feel like you're not seeing them accurately, like you have this person on a pedestal, or you're looking at this person through rose-colored glasses, and I think they feel like your views of this person are not based on reality. All right, so that's that part. Next thing we're looking at is the lesson or experience as you're moving through this time frame. So there is something coming up here where I think you were expecting to be able to celebrate something. You were expecting to have accomplished something, and then I think at the last minute it falls through. I don't think you have very much warning that that you don't actually reach that target or reach that goal. And I think that you know, kind of takes the wind out of any plans to celebrate. I don't think that you're going to let this really get to you as far as long term, though, because what I'm seeing is that even though you didn't meet this goal or meet this target or create this dream, manifest this thing, whatever it is, you still are surrounded by friends who are consoling you and encouraging you and lifting you up. And so that is helping you to recover. I think this was hard on you emotionally when you first realized, but I think having your friends around to encourage you and lift you up really helped you to deal with this emotionally so that you can move forward now much more easily. Thank goodness for good friends, right? And then once we get to the end of this life cycle, or basically like the 12th, 13th, 14th of the month, what we see you doing is taking some action, doing something that makes you feel really great. You may be inspired to take this action, but it's something that you definitely are very passionate about whenever you do this. So I like that. That usually is something that's pretty fulfilling by the time it gets completed. So that's what we've got for the first part of the month, Sagittarius. I'm going to take a little break, and when I come back, we're going to hit the second half. See you soon. And we are back, Sagittarius. This time we're going to be looking at the days from the 15th through the 31st of the month. Just taking a peek at what energies come up. Thank you guys for being here. I do appreciate it. So the first thing that we're looking at in your environment is the idea that there's something that was disappointing in the environment, and I think that you are sort of letting that go. You're not upset or aggravated about that anymore. You're not disappointed with it anymore. You're just letting it be water under the bridge, okay? Now this can be something about your actual environment yourself. Maybe you signed a new contract on a home and then you found out that all the windows had been painted shut or something like that. Or this could be that you were disappointed with somebody in your environment too, because these cards not only talk about specifically your environment, but also things that are happening inside your environment. So it could be that you're disappointed with somebody that shares your environment as well, and you're deciding to let that go and not hold a grudge or not hold on to that pain or hurt. Okay, next thing that we're looking at is subconscious leanings, and it looks to me like you have your subconscious working on how can I make more money? How can I bring more money in? Money, 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 honey, 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 money, money, money. All right, your subconscious is working on how do I bring in more money. Next thing we have coming up, Sagittarius, talks to me about learning style and also communication style. You guys, you still have the money theme going on from the first part of June, feeding over into the second part of June, still pretty heavy duty. When we look at learning style, I think you are learning about how to make money. Maybe you're learning how to invest, or how to invest in options or real estate, or, you know, how do you maybe you're learning about when would be the best time to ask your boss for a raise, but there's something here about learning about money and improving your financial situation. Communication also has a lot to do with money. The main theme here that I'm seeing has to do with money and security. So a lot going on as far as financially in your thoughts and in your words. Next, we're looking at work. I do feel like as you're at work this time, you know, the second half of the month, I feel like you're able to do things pretty much unsupervised, very loosely supervised or not supervised at all, depending on your situation. And I think that you're getting to be very creative about some of the things that you're undertaking and how you do those when it comes to work during this time frame. Very nice. Next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded right now. And once again, money shows up. I think that you're getting much more comfortable talking about money, discussing money, negotiating about money with other people. Interesting, Sagittarius. Interesting, interesting. So next we're going to look at that thing that you stand for during this time frame, and then how the person who wanted the explanation or confronted you about this feels about you after that explanation or confrontation. So it looks like what you're standing up for is this idea that you have been thinking about different ways that you could improve your life, and you have decided on what you want to set as the priority or focus on moving forward, and so you're taking action towards making that improvement a reality in your life. So that's what you're standing up for. Somebody's asked you about this or confronted you about the changes that you're making, and how they see you after you have this conversation. It looks to me like they're seeing you as somebody who has your energy scattered all over the place, that you're very high energy, that you have a lot of energy, but it looks to me like they feel like you may be burning the candle at both ends and maybe overdoing your energy output a little bit is how this shows up to me here. Now, the next thing that I'm looking at does talk to me about that lesson or experience that happens during this time frame. And so what I'm seeing here is actually really good. It talks about having been in a situation and not knowing how to move forward from that situation into something that made sense to you. And so now you've found that solution. You've figured out how to move forward with that situation in a good, healthy way. And you're taking action towards doing that. At the same time that this is happening, I do see you picking up other responsibilities that you didn't have before. And I also see you coming into a place socially where I think you may have been feeling a little bit left out or sort of on the sidelines. Now you're coming into a place socially that feels a little bit more inclusive to you, okay? And then where we see you at the end of the month, I think you want to kind of keep your eyes open towards the last few days of this month for somebody that may be coming up to you, and I think they're going to ask for some kind of support from you, and when you ask them why they need that support, they're going to give you one reason, but there's going to be more to it than that, and I don't think they're going to share the whole situation with you. So you just kind of want to keep your eyes out for that. You want to make sure that, you know, if you're giving somebody something, money or otherwise, you kind of want to make sure that it's doing what you expect it to do, because usually when we do something like that, it's because we want something good for this other person. You know, so an example of this would be, say that somebody came to you and said that they needed money for diapers and formula. You know, maybe it's somebody, you know, maybe it's your grandkid that needs diapers and formula. Okay, well, all right, that's cool. Like, you don't mind helping with something like that if somebody's really, you know, trying to make ends meet and just struggling. But if what they're not telling you is that they also want to go down to the street corner and pick up some meth or some crack or whatever all is available now, I don't even know. But you know, some street drugs along with the diapers and the formula, or maybe even instead of the diapers and formula, well, that's not so cool. You know, that's generally, most people don't want their money going towards something like that. They would like it to go to something more healthy and productive. So, you know, you just want to be aware if somebody is coming to you and asking for some kind of support, you want to make sure that you're setting up that support that you're giving them in such a way that you know exactly where it's actually going to, so that you know it's something that is good for them and not something that's detrimental to them because of how they're using it. Okay, so that's basically what I'm seeing around that. And that's your month. That's the month, Sagittarius. So thank you guys very much for being here, and thank you for sharing this video with others who may find it beneficial. And of course, thank you for the thumbs ups on the video. It is because of you guys' support that I get to do what I love to do for my living. So thank you very much to those of you ordering also private readings and private Reiki sessions. And I hope you all have a fantastic month. I'm looking forward to working for some of you during this month. And the rest of you, I'll see back on the next video. Peace out.